Hi everyone and welcome to the bench. Well, today we have a special treat. We're actually doing a live filming with Jack Dennis, and Jack's going to tie us up
We're going to tie an Amy's ant.
Amy's ant. All right, Jack, let's begin the fly.
All right, let's have some fun here. Fly tying should be fun. This is one of the most fun flies you'll ever tie. Okay, now we're going to put the body on. Now we go against the gape. That's our width right here. We use the gape as a width. And we're going to now visualize this and break that up into quarters. And we're going to leave a quarter of the fly hanging out the back. And this is the abdomen, as you can see right here. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm just wrapping some thread. Now I'm going to start tightening up. This is called thread torque. Basically, this will keep it from twisting. All right, now what we're going to use is a material called short flash chenille. You'll see it under a variety of different names, but essentially it is a type of a mylar synthetic material that's got a lot of sparkle. And one of the keys to this is the chenille blend has a very bland color, you know, tan or whatever, the foam. It doesn't look very insect-like. That sparkles, reflects light much better. So we're going to tie that in. Okay, now we're going to use a technique that's been around for a long time. It started with the Joe's hopper. It's a palmering technique using a hackle. What we're going to do is you use just any of your saddle hackle that's been dyed grizzly. You could use a regular grizzly, but I use a dyed grizzly. And you can see this is, I don't want to clip it. A lot of people use a big hackle and clip it down. I want to keep the natural material. So I'm using an undersized hackle. And we're going to take and tie it in. Nice thing about this, you don't have to be too precise. You can, this isn't like tying a small dry fly. You just got to watch your proportions. Now we're wrapping this forward. Now I'm visualizing again about 1/3 to 3/4 of the way down here. We're going to leave some room here. We're going to tie that off. Okay, here we go. We're going to take and palmer this. You don't even have to use saddle hackle. You can usually grab, hackle pliers. You know, because this is long enough, just grab it and palmer it just nice and even. Now, what that's going to do is add segmentation. It's going to also help the fly float a little bit better. All right, at this point, what we're going to do is do an over body of foam. And I've used some darker. This particular one, we're going for a fall stonefly. Now, what I'm going to do is, you notice I've cut this. What I've done is I've trimmed it so it's sort of like a forked tail. I don't know how important it is, but you know, it seems to work, so we don't question it. We just do it. We're going to lay it right on here, and we're going to come around watching that point, wrap a few wraps, and I want it to be a little longer than that, so I'm going to actually just bring it out just a little bit more. I want that to kind of sit right, you can see that here, right in there. Okay, now we're going to tie it in. Now I make a few loose wraps, then I tighten up. Now at this point we're going to put on some legs. Now we experimented with a lot of different legs material, and I've come up with the best has been these round legs. This is just a regular foam round and with this darker color. Okay, here we go. We're going to take this and put this right into the side. Now notice how I've laid that in. It's right between the foam, and I'm going to make a loose wrap, then make a few more tight wraps. I got to kind of watch that point there. Then we're going to come around on the other side, do the same thing. Now I'm going to pull it tight. This is very important. Use our thumbnail, pushing it down, and then tying it in. That'll keep that from being loose. Again, make it more durable. Now we've got to allow that room that we had before, because that's where we're going to put a wing on. We're going to come on with this rainbow thread that we talked about, and we're going to tie that in. Now how much you need is acquired taste. It's just going to take you a while to see how much you need. It's just, I could tell you it's 40 strands and you'd be taking 10 hours tying this fly, but you'll just figure it out. One of the things you want to do is make sure you don't go beyond the end of the body. We're going to tie that in. Now this is kind of critical, is getting it so that it spreads out. You don't want it like a streamer wing. And so what we got to do here is we've got to work with some elk hair. Now, a lot of times what I'll do is if I don't think I have enough, I can always add a little bit more to it, you know, on the thing. So don't hesitate to be, if you're not satisfied, go back and redo it again. Okay, Now what you can see right now, we get it and we end up with this nice hair that's nice and even, as you can see right here. And you can see we have just nothing but the long ones. Now, here's going to be the key on this, is how we spread this out. I'm going to push down. Notice it's flat like that. And this is the way you want all this to roll. And this, now what I'm going to do is I'm watching and I'm trimming so that I get it nice and even to match. Now, watch my thumb here. I'm going to push it down. See how it spreads out like that? And then I'm going to gather that up with a few loose wraps. What I'm going to do is brush this so as we're talking, that's going to soak into the hair. And because it's flexible, it's not very heavy. And if you do that with all your flies, and either your hair flies like this, now as I tie it, if you just look right here and you can see how it just penetrates right into the hair. I'm essentially going to bond that. All right, now while that's still like that, we're going to add some dubbing. And we're going to dub the thorax. And what I try to, we're going to be talking several different dubbing techniques, but what I like to do is I pull it and move it out like, as you can see right here, it's rather than try to put it all on little pieces, I stretch it across the thread and then work my way through. The nice beauty about this is a big fly, so you don't, it's not like a little dry fly you want nice and tapered. We want a big chunk of fur there. As you can see, it's nice and rough and ugly. Now we're going to take and fold that back and then tie that down. And that's going to form a little thorax. Then we're going to come up here and cut it. Okay, here we go. We're going to put the leg on the side. You can see right there it's on the side, and we're going to, whoops, going to stay there. We're going to have to tighten that down a little bit. And we got one on one side and one on the other. Now what I'll do is I'll just wrap one so I can even them out like that and then pull down on it. Now at this point, there's a lot of times the guys that tie this fly will want to put foam or something on top to be an indicator. I'll go ahead and do just, if you do it, you want to do it real small. Yellow's a pretty popular one. You can do it like that. Okay, believe it or not, we are done. So what we got to do is whip finish. And there's our Amy's ant. And I'm going to just kind of trim the legs here a little bit. People always ask me how long should the legs be. It's kind of up to you. But that's what I like is about the length of the legs. Now what do we have here? We've got a big fly that's got a great profile.
Well, thank you very much for the tie, Jack. And everything can be seen, this fly and many others, on Jack's DVD, and it's called
Tying Jack's Newest Patterns. I sat up night after night thinking of that title.
Very original title. Again, thanks for the tie.
You're welcome.